Hey everyone, my name is Cassie and this is the Mystery Meeting Chamber. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be covering a case of a missing person. A young and charismatic college student was excited to return to school for his sophomore year. Shortly after returning, his roommate and girlfriend started noticing some strange behavior in him. He gave away some of his prized possessions to his roommate and drove to his girlfriend's house to break up with her. He spoke on the phone with his mother, saying that he had a lot to tell her. And then he went on a very strange drive. And at the end of this drive, his car was found overturned and no sign of him. And to this day, no one knows what happened to Bryce Laspisa. Bryce was born on April 30th, 1994, to parents Michael and Karen Laspisa in Springfield, Illinois. It is said that he had a very good and close relationship with his family. He had tons of friends here. They described him as being very charismatic, funny, talented, smart. He could put anyone he met at ease. He graduated from high school in 2012, and his parents that were recently retired decided to move to Laguna Niguel in California. Bryce moved with them and found a community college that he could attend that was about 465 miles away from Laguna Niguel. That way, he still gets the college feel of being away from his family, where he'd be staying in a dorm apartment setting, but still within the state of his family. He did eventually want to transfer to a 4-year college after attending this community college. At Sierra College, he made good friends with a roommate named Sean and even found himself a very beautiful girlfriend named Kim. His freshman year went really well. He got good grades and really liked being in this new environment and the friends that he was making there. Due to the time frame it would take Bryce to drive home from his college, he typically only went during extended breaks or during the summer. This summer, he did return back to Laguna Niguel and spent time with his family. He was so excited to return back to school, though, he went back 2 weeks early to set up his room with his roommate Sean. After returning back to school, his roommate and girlfriend started noticing some behavioral changes in him. He got into drinking pretty heavily on a daily basis. Classes started on August 26th of 2013. Bryce had attended a speech class and a web design class. He phoned his mother after these classes to let her know that they went pretty good and he liked them. However, despite him saying that his classes were good and that everything was fine, his friends really did start worrying about him at this point. His girlfriend started noticing even more strange behavior, something that was beyond more than just alcohol. He was saying that everything was fine and not to worry, but she pushed to get an answer because she knew something was wrong. He finally admitted that he started taking Vyvanse, which is normally used as a ADHD medicine. Some college students will use this to either stay up partying all night or staying up to study for exams or keep them going the next day during school. Typically, if you have ADHD, this will help calm your mind and allow you to keep focus on things. If you do not have this and you are taking it, it often is used, it can have a stimulant effect, almost like a speed, where you get high energy, your heart starts racing, and you should really not mix that with alcohol. So Bryce had admitted this to his girlfriend that he started using Vyvanse one night when he was staying up all night playing Xbox and drinking. This is where his behavior starts getting even stranger. He had sent a message to his roommate saying, "I love you, bro. You saved me." And he gave away his Xbox, and a family heirloom earrings that his mother had given him. He sent a text message to his girlfriend Kim saying, "You'd be better off without me." And she asked, "Are you breaking up with me?" And he said, "Yes." Bryce had actually driven to Kim's house that evening. Her apartment was in Chico, which was about an hour north of Rockland, where his college is. He arrived there between 10 and 10:30, and they kind of got into an argument. She took his keys because she really felt that he is not capable of driving, is not safe. She asked him to please just take a nap, rest, you can leave in the morning. He said, "No, I just want to go home." He actually called his mom and said, "Kim won't let me leave. Can you please talk to her? She took my keys. I broke up with her. She's just mad at me and won't let me leave her house." Bryce's mother, Karen, at this point was already a little worried herself because his roommate Sean had called her earlier telling her about the change in his behavior. She asked him if he was doing okay and said, "I'll take a flight out there to you. If you need anything, I can come help you." He said, "No, don't do that. Don't make any flight reservations. I have a lot of things I need to tell you first before you do that." Bryce's mom, Karen, then asked to talk with Kim on the phone, and Bryce gave the phone to Kim. She spoke with her for a little bit and convinced her to give Bryce back his keys and that he would drive home safely to his dorm. Bryce left Kim's apartment in Chico about 11:30 that evening. Karen had actually received a missed phone call from Bryce around 1 a.m. that evening, but when she saw it, she assumed that was him just saying that he made it back to his apartment fine. However, that morning, Karen had received an automated voicemail from her insurance company letting them know that one of their vehicles had called for roadside assistance that morning at 9 a.m. She called Bryce in Sean's room, and Sean said that he never came home that evening. She tried to reach Bryce several times on his phone, but he was not answering. Because they weren't able to get a hold of Bryce, they started looking into the roadside assistant call to see if they could get any information from them. They found out that Bryce had called for roadside assistance because he ran out of gas around 9 a.m. in Buttonwillow, California, which is about 250 miles south of Kim's house, heading towards Laguna Niguel. They were able to get a hold of the repair shop that sent out an employee to help Bryce. The employee, Christian, who had helped Bryce, said that he brought out 3 gallons of gas to him so he could fill it and make it to a gas station to completely fill up the rest of his tank. He said he arrived there around 9:30 in the morning. Karen was explaining to Christian that she hasn't been able to get a hold of him and was starting to get really worried about him. He very kindly offered to drive back by that area where he brought the gas to see if he was still there. At the point that he would make it there, it would be 3 hours since he left, but it was a shot and he was willing to take it. Surprisingly enough to him, Bryce was still parked on the side of the road where Christian had met him at 9:30. Bryce himself was pretty shocked to see Christian walk up to his car again. Christian had explained that his mother had been trying to get a hold of him and that she was really worried and got Bryce to talk on the phone with his mom. She asked him, "What are you doing?" And he said nothing, just being completely evasive. His voice sounded normal and he was talking fine, so it didn't raise any further concerns that he might have been drunk or doing anything like that. She said, "Since you're only a few hours away from home, just, fill up the rest of your tank, and head home. We'll talk more about whatever's going on when you get home." And he agreed. Bryce should have arrived at their home around 3 o'clock from the point where he was at. By 3:30, he still hadn't shown up at the house, and his parents were getting really worried now. They thought, maybe he hit some traffic, maybe it's okay. They kind of just wanted to keep hope that he was fine. But time kept ticking by, and they weren't able to get a hold of him again. I believe it was around 6 p.m. at this point now, and Bryce's parents had called the police to report him as a missing person. The first thing the police do is contact his cell phone provider, AT&T, and see if they can ping his phone to find out where he is. 2 Kern County deputies were dispatched out to his location. His location was only 8 miles from where Christian had brought him gas at 9:30 that morning, and it's already 6 o'clock. It appears that he did load up his car with gas like he told his mother, but instead of getting on Interstate 5, which heads home, he parked again on the side of the road. The deputies said that he was being very nice, sounded fine, being very cooperative. They had him do a couple of sobriety field tests, and he passed all of them. They asked if they could search his car, and he said you were more than welcome to. They did not find any drugs, any alcohol, or any weapons in his car. Because he was an adult, they had no reason to actually detain him, but urged him to call his mom because she was really worried. And he was very hesitant about this. One of the deputies actually had to call Karen for him because he wasn't, it didn't seem like he was willing to call her. And he gave the phone to Bryce to talk to her. Again, his mother asked, Bryce, what are you doing? And he said, I'm putting everything back in my car after they searched it. And she was like, no, what are you doing? Why are you still there? And he didn't really have a good answer. It's just kind of roundabout talking. She said, okay, just go get something to eat, get some fuel, get back onto the road, and come home, okay? Just come home. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. The police felt fine that he was going to get on the road to start heading home, and they left him there. A couple hours later, Christian, the employee from the repair shop that brought him gas that morning, actually drove by that area again and saw Bryce still sitting there. At this point, he had been there for over 13 hours. He called Karen to let her know that he was still sitting there and that he doesn't know what's going on. It's so strange. He said that he would go talk to him and tell him, you got to head home. I'm going to follow you onto the interstate to make sure you get going. And Bryce was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. He grabbed a soda from a store nearby and they got on the road. And Christian had followed him for about 10 miles going south, seeming like, okay, he's good to go now. He's finally heading home. He let Karen know this, and it seemed fine. It seemed like he was going home. 12:30 in the morning rolls around now, and he is still not home. Karen keeps trying to call Bryce, but he doesn't answer. Around 1:50 in the morning, they finally get a hold of him. They asked him where he is, and he was like, I took a side road. I'm not really sure. They're like, where are you? What do you see? Do you see any signs, any landmarks? He was like, no, it's dark. I don't see anything. And they were like, you can't see anything, are you safe? And he said everything was fine. He programmed his home address into his GPS and said that he should be home around 3:25 in the morning. However, he ends up calling his mom back at 2:09, just a couple minutes later, saying, you know what, I'm too tired to drive. I'm going to pull over in this residential area, and I'm going to sleep, and I'll call you in the morning before I start heading home. And they were like, okay, if you need anything, just call us. We're here for you. The next morning, the Laspisa family was awoken to a knock at their front door. They figured that it was Bryce, and they were excited that he finally made it home. However, it wasn't Bryce. It was the California Highway Patrol. They had came to ask if they are the owners of a silver 2003 Toyota Highlander. And they said, yes, our son was driving that last night and was driving home. What's going on? They explained to them that they had found his car overturned on a side of a road by Callista Lake. However, there was no signs of Bryce in the car or in the close proximity around the car. An immediate search had already started to find the owner of this car, since it was reported at 5:30 in the morning that it was there and overturned. In the effort to find him, they had a ground search, they had police officers on horses, they had divers come out, they had bloodhound sniffer dogs come out, and they couldn't find where he went. Because of where his car was found and overturned, they wondered if he had fallen down this 25-foot embankment that it was next to. And there's a camera system that actually led up the road that you would have to take to fall down that embankment. His car was captured going up this road at 2:15 in the morning, which is just a few minutes after he told his mom he was pulling over in a residential area to sleep for the night. However, this is not a residential area. This is a very open wooden area. Later on the camera feed, they noticed his car going back up the same hill at 4:25 in the morning. So it's a rather long road that you would take to go up and around and then get back to the beginning point to go back up it again. But why would he be doing that? Why is he going in a huge circle? The police had figured out where the car would have swerved off of the road to go down this embankment. And due to the tracks and movement of the rocks, they actually determined that he was accelerating, no signs of braking at all, while going down this embankment. This made them think that possibly he was trying to drive at fast speeds to make it to the lake, which was about 100 feet away from where his car had overturned, but the overturning had stopped his plan. In the Highlander, they found all of his belongings were still there. His phone, his wallet, his backpack, his laptop, his duffel bag, it was all still in this vehicle. There was only a few drops of blood in the front seat and the back seat, suggesting that there was no major external injuries. There could still be internal injuries due to that kind of fall and overturning. The back window was smashed out from the inside. It looked like he had probably used one of those emergency tools to break the window for emergency purposes. It was noted that his duffel bag was unzipped and it looked a little ruffled through. Now, in the overturning, it could have made things look like they were ruffled through if it was already opened, but they weren't sure if he had opened it and taken something else out when he left all of his other belongings behind. Some of the bloodhound dogs had caught his scent heading kind of towards the lake, but eventually ending at a truck stop not too far away, and then nothing. This suggests that maybe possibly he got into a vehicle or a truck at this point, but he has not been seen at all. There's been a lot of speculation in what happened here. You know, what caused him to make all these crazy long pit stops and of almost seeming like he's avoiding going home, but said to his mom the night before that he had a lot of things to tell her. It seemed like he definitely had something on his mind and he just couldn't bring himself yet to speak about it. So he was just hesitating going home, but felt like he needed to but couldn't. Very, very torn. It looked like he was very torn about whatever was going on in his mind. Did he have to tell his parents that something was wrong in his life? Did he do something or see something and just, felt so bad about it? Did he have some kind of life-changing event? You know, what what was it? And his parents still don't know what he wanted to tell them. It could have been, maybe he wanted to drop out of school and just felt guilty about it, or there's so many things that it could have been. Some people also think that it had to do with the alcohol use and the Vyvanse and mixing them together. With many drugs like this, they have such adverse side effects for some people. Some people, it helps them so much, it's like a miracle drug for them, while other people have such bad reactions, causing hallucinations, not being able to think straight, racing heart. Did this have something to do with it? We don't know. The police suspected that maybe it was a suicide attempt since he was speeding up down this embankment and it looked like his car would have been heading towards the lake before the car overturned. Even though they had searched the lake, there was no signs of him. It is very hard for you to drown yourself. Your body has a natural reaction of, I want to live. So unless you are tying yourself down or something, your body's gonna naturally just go up. It's not gonna let you stay underwater. And if he did want to commit suicide, why do it this way? Why not just drive at high speeds into the lake from that access road? Or why not do anything else? Why not drive off of the side of another road that he knew he would crash? Like, why go about it this way? Did the crash give him certain internal injuries? Did he hit his head and now has some form of amnesia or in a fugue state? Maybe he doesn't know where he is and now he's just wandering off. Did he get into a truck at this truck station? His scent vanished. Did he get into one of these trucks? Did he get into someone's car? It's so hard to know what happened. Nothing really makes sense, and it's just so baffling. Yeah. Another theory about what might have happened too is that he was trying to run away from something, run away from his life. He wanted a change. He staged this car accident, managed to get out of it fine. Maybe he had planned to have someone come pick him up. Maybe he just got picked up by someone random and decided that he just wanted to live a different life. There have been several sightings of Bryce, but none of them have ever been confirmed. They rather not confirmed as Bryce or unable to locate the tip. A lot of times it's homeless people in California that they think are Bryce. And if he ran away being 19 and couldn't make it, maybe he would end up homeless. Or if he was in some kind of fugue state or amnesia, maybe not knowing who he was or what to do, he could end up on the streets. But no sightings anywhere have ever been confirmed that it's officially Bryce. So with all these strange circumstances, Bryce's family still has much hope that he is out there and that he's alive. They don't understand why he felt like that he couldn't just talk to them. And they still to this day say, whatever it is, it's okay. You can come home. Nothing you have done is bad enough that you can't talk to us about it. You can talk to us. Come home and talk to us. You know, they're there for him. They have a Facebook group and they still update it all the time. And this happened back in 2013 and is now 2021. They post pictures of him. They have all of the information if you ever have any sightings. They talk about different tips and calls that they had received. And, you know, after all this time, they are still trying. They haven't given up. They have so much love for their son, and they just want to know that he is okay. They are still taking tips on their website. They have a telephone number that you can call for this as well, or you can call the local sheriff's department. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. All right, bye.